right? And with what you have done, what I see out there is what we studied back in our social innovation courses to human-centered design. So instead of, I read your book, and in most of the times you have also talked about things like how you should actually go out there and ask women what do they actually need, instead of thinking that I should have done this or this should be done. What's your thoughts around that, like human-centered design? Why should we actually go in and talk to the people and know exactly what they need, instead of thinking, because mostly we are very grateful and we do things out of generosity. We like to give people, we like to give aids, but we can also talk about it later, how like poverty and all those issues, how complicated are they, and it's not as simple as giving money out there, right? But what's your take on that? Like you should be going in and talking to actual people before coming up with ideas to help them.
Well, I think I'll kind of answer that with an example. And I love the fact that you read my book. How did you get my book in the first place?
Again, I think it's from university itself. I got this like 3 years ago, but I just finished like it today because I'm very bad at reading. I had your book, I started, never finished it, but finally I did it today.
That's awesome. Well done. Good timing, just at the last second. Yeah. Well done. One example, and it's a very interesting question, is what the importance of actually listening to the people that you're working with and hoping to help support outcomes for is. I remember the first time when I took the products back to Australia and sold them and raised a bit of money. I think it was around $500 or something. And I went back to Paul, and like my view of what we should have done with that money would have been to buy proper beds and blankets and make their living space in this tin shed more comfortable. So if I hadn't have asked the women, and if I had have just made that decision and bought that, that would have been good for them. But actually, when I asked them what they wanted to do with that money, they said that they wanted to build a higher fence and a more secure fence around the premises, because across the road was an alcohol shop and they felt unsafe every night when they went to sleep because of, people that used to hang around the alcohol shop and that sort of thing. So I would have never known that if I didn't ask them. So I just think, it is very important. And also, being from a different culture, the cultures are very different in some respects. So I would not even think in my brain some of the things that would be relevant unless I asked. And I was very, because I'm very curious naturally, I was very hungry to learn the culture and the language, because I think you can learn a lot through the language about, society and the mentality of people as well.
If you like this video, hit subscribe. You can listen to the full podcast in YouTube, Anchor, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify.